Imagine waking up every morning feeling energized, sharp, and ready to take on the day. Yes, even after 60. What if I told you that just a few simple tweaks to your daily routine could add a whole decade to your life? Not just more years, but better years, filled with vitality, joy, and the freedom to do what you love. Hi, I'm so glad you're here with me today, because we're about to explore something incredible. 6 daily habits that science says can help you live longer and thrive well into your golden years. This isn't about drastic overhauls or impossible goals. It's about small, doable changes that fit right into your life. Starting today, stick with me, because by the end of this, you'll feel inspired to take charge of your health and add those extra years you deserve. Now, let's get real for a moment. Turning 60 is a milestone. Maybe you've noticed your energy dipping a little, or those aches and pains creeping in more often. Or perhaps you're just wondering how to keep doing the things you love, like gardening, play with the grandkids, or taking that dream trip you've been putting off. The good news? Your 60s, 70s, and beyond don't have to be a slow decline. They could be some of your best years yet, and it all starts with what you do every single day. I'm not here to lecture you or throw complicated science at you. Instead, I want to share practical, down-to-earth habits that feel like second nature once you get going. And trust me, these are things I've seen work wonders, not just in studies, but in real people's lives. So, let's kick things off with the first habit that can change everything: moving your body in a way that feels good. I know what you might be thinking. Exercise sounds like a chore, especially if your knees creak or your back's been nagging you. But hear me out. This isn't about running marathons or lifting heavy weights. It's about finding a way to move that you actually enjoy. Picture this. My friend Margaret turned 62 last year, and she was feeling stiff and sluggish. She wasn't big on gyms, but she loved being outdoors. So she started taking a 20-minute walk around her neighborhood every morning, just her, the fresh air, and her favorite playlist. At first, it was tough to get out the door, but after a week, she noticed her mood lifting. A month in, her joints felt looser, and she even dropped a few pounds without trying. Now she's hooked. Studies back this up. Regular, gentle movement like walking can lower your risk of heart disease, boost your energy, and even add years to your life. The key is to make it yours. Maybe walking isn't your thing. Maybe it's dancing in your living room to some Motown classics, or doing a little chair yoga while you watch TV. The point is to get your blood flowing and your muscles working, even if it's just for 15 or 20 minutes a day. Start small, maybe a stroll around the block or a few stretches before breakfast. You don't need fancy equipment or a membership. Just move in a way that makes you smile. And here's the magic. Once you start, your body will thank you with more energy, better sleep, and a little extra pep in your step. Now, let's shift gears to the second habit. Feeding your body the good stuff. I'm not talking about boring diets or cutting out everything you love. No way. This is about adding in foods that fuel you and keep you going strong. Think of it like this. After 60, your body's like a vintage car. It still runs beautifully, but it needs the right kind of care to stay in top shape. My neighbor Tom is a perfect example. At 65, he was feeling run down and dealing with some pesky blood pressure issues. He didn't want to overhaul his whole life, so he started simple, swapping his afternoon cookie for a handful of almonds and adding a big colorful salad to his dinner. Nothing drastic, just a little more of the good stuff. Within a couple of months, his doctor was amazed. His numbers were better, and he felt like he'd turned back the clock. What's the secret? Foods packed with nutrients, like fruits, veggies, nuts, and whole grains, help fight inflammation, keep your heart happy, and even protect your brain as you age. So, you got a little movement in your day and some nutrient-packed foods on your plate. How good does it feel to know you're already taking steps toward a longer, healthier life? Now, let's talk about something that's just as powerful but often gets overlooked. Staying connected. I mean really connected. Not just a quick wave to the neighbor or a text to the kids, but those heart-to-heart moments that light you up inside. After 60, it's easy to let those connections slip a little. Maybe the grandkids are busy or old friends have moved away, and suddenly you're spending more time alone than you'd like. But here's the thing. The people in your life aren't just there for fun. They're a secret weapon for living longer. Think about my friend Clara for a second. She's 68, retired, and was starting to feel a bit isolated after her husband passed. She'd always been the social butterfly, but without her usual routine, she was retreating into her shell. One day, she decided to join a local book club. Not because she's a big reader, but because she missed laughing with people. Fast forward a few months, and she's got a crew of new pals. They meet for coffee, swap stories, and even plan little outings. Clara swears she feels 10 years younger, and science agrees. Strong social ties can lower stress, boost your immune system, and even keep your mind sharper as you age. Loneliness, on the other hand, can quietly chip away at your health. So why not flip that around? You don't need a big social calendar to make this work. Start small. Call up an old friend you haven't talked to in a while and just chat about the good old days. Or maybe invite a neighbor over for tea. If you're feeling bold, try something like Clara did. Join a group that sparks your interest, whether it's cards, gardening, or just folks who love a good story. The trick is to find moments that feel genuine, where you can be yourself and share a laugh or two. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. Those connections will lift your spirits in ways you can feel deep down, and that's a gift that keeps on giving. Now, let's shift to something you're doing every night: sleeping. Or maybe not sleeping as well as you'd like. If you're over 60, you might have noticed it's harder to drift off or stay asleep like you used to. I get it. Those 3 a.m. wake-ups are no picnic. But here's why this matters. Sleep isn't just downtime. It's when your body repairs itself. Your brain clears out the clutter and your energy gets a reset. Skimp on it, and you're more likely to feel foggy, achy, or even cranky the next day. Over time, that can add up and take years off your life. But when you prioritize good sleep, it's like hitting a refresh button for your whole system. Take my cousin Ed, for example. He's 64 and used to brag about getting by on 5 hours a night. He'd say, "I'll sleep when I'm dead." But then he started feeling worn out all the time, and his doctor told him his blood pressure was creeping up. Ed didn't want pills, so he decided to get serious about sleep instead. He set a little routine: no TV an hour before bed, a cup of chamomile tea, and a quiet room with a fan for white noise. It wasn't instant, but after a couple of weeks, he was sleeping 7 hours straight and waking up ready to tackle the day. His energy's back, and he's even got a spring in his step again. How do you make this happen for yourself? It's easier than you think. Try winding down with something calm, maybe a book or some soft music, instead of scrolling your phone or watching late-night news. Keep your bedroom cool and dark, and aim to hit the hay around the same time each night. If your mind's racing, jot down tomorrow's to-dos so they're off your chest. Little tweaks like that can turn restless nights into deep, restorative sleep. And when you wake up feeling refreshed, you'll wonder why you didn't start sooner. We're building something amazing here. Habits that don't just add years, but make every day brighter and fuller. You're already halfway there, and I've got more to share that'll fit right into this journey. Imagine waking up each morning with a sense of purpose and strength. Doesn't that sound worth it? Let's keep this going together. So, you got movement, good food, connection, and sleep in your corner. Pretty incredible, right? It's amazing how these everyday choices can stack up to something as big as adding 10 extra years to your life. Now, let's talk about something that ties it all together: keeping your mind engaged. After 60, it's easy to settle into a routine that's comfortable, but maybe a little too predictable. You know, the same crossword puzzle every morning or flipping through the same TV channels. But your brain, it's like a muscle. It thrives when you give it something fresh to chew on. And trust me, this isn't about forcing yourself to learn quantum physics. It's about having fun while you keep those mental gears turning. Take my Uncle Ray. He's 71 and always loved tinkering with things. A few years back, he decided to try fixing up an old radio he found at a garage sale. He'd never done it before, but he watched a few videos, got some tools, and dove in. It took him weeks, and there were moments he almost gave up. But when that radio crackled to life with music, he lit up like a kid on Christmas. Now he's on to his next project, and he says his memory feels sharper than it has in years. That's the power of a curious mind. Studies show that challenging yourself with new skills or hobbies can protect against memory loss and even lower your risk of dementia. Plus, It's a blast to surprise yourself with what you can do. You don't need to fix radios to get this going. Maybe it's picking up a paintbrush for the first time since grade school, or trying a new recipe that looks tricky but delicious. Even something like learning a few phrases in Spanish for that trip you've been dreaming about can spark your brain in the best way. Start with something small that excites you, maybe 10 minutes a day, and watch how it grows. It's not about being perfect. It's about keeping your mind awake and alive. And when you catch yourself grinning because you nailed it, that's the real win. Now, let's wrap this up with the sixth habit, one that's so simple yet so powerful: gratitude. I know it might sound a little soft at first, but stick with me. After 60, life's thrown a lot your way. Some of it tough, some of it beautiful, and it's easy to get caught up in what's not working. Maybe the knees ache more, or you miss how things used to be, but pausing to notice the good stuff, that's a game changer. It's not about ignoring the hard days. It's about finding the light even when things feel heavy. And science backs this up. People who practice gratitude regularly have lower stress, better sleep, and even stronger hearts. My friend Susan's a perfect example. She's 66 and went through a rough patch after losing her job. Bills were piling up and she felt stuck. One day, she started jotting down 3 things she was thankful for every night. Nothing big. Just stuff like a warm cup of coffee, a call from her daughter, or the way the sun hit her porch. At first, it felt silly, but over time, she noticed her mood lifting. She started smiling more, worrying less, and even sleeping better. It didn't fix everything, but it gave her a foothold to climb out of that rut. That's what gratitude does. It shifts your focus just enough to remind you life's still got plenty of good in it. How do you start? Keep it easy, maybe over breakfast. Think of one thing that made you happy yesterday. Or before bed, scribble it in a notebook. It could be a friend's laugh, a tasty meal, or just the fact that you're still here, kicking it after all these years. Let it sink in and feel that little glow inside. It's like watering a plant. Do it daily and you'll see how it grows. And the more you do it, the more natural it feels, until you're spotting those moments without even trying. So here we are. You've got 6 habits that can carry you into your 70s, 80s, and beyond with energy, joy, and strength. Moving your body, eating what fuels you, staying connected, sleeping deep, keeping your mind sharp, and savoring the good. These aren't just ideas. They're your ticket to more time with the people and passions you love. You don't have to do them all at once. Pick one, start today, and let it build. Maybe it's a walk tomorrow morning, or a call to an old friend this afternoon. Whatever it is, you're not just adding years, you're making them count. I'd love to hear how this lands with you. What's one habit you're excited to try? Drop it in the comment below. And if this sparks something for you, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so we can keep this journey going together. You're not just over 60. You're stepping into some of your best days yet, and I'm cheering you on every step of the way. Here's to thriving, not just surviving. See you soon with more ways to make every moment shine.